digital planner who loves digital stickers and have Procreate and Goodnotes on your iPad, this week's tutorial is just for you. If you find yourself always searching for the right sticker pack or wondering how creatives have made their own digital sticker packs, in this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through how you can create digital stickers right in Procreate and prep them for use in apps like Goodnotes easily and rather quickly. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, welcome, and for those of you returning, welcome back. I'm Jen and I'm the creative behind the channel. I'm a freelance graphic designer, illustrator, and educator based out of the Midwest, and I run Bella and Sophia Creative Studio. If you want to learn more about me, you can find me online at bellasophiacreative.com. On this channel, The Creative Studio, I share a variety of creative content focused on tutorials, resources like this video, and from time to time, a behind-the-scenes view of the work that I do as a creative freelancer. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and explore around my library of free tutorials catered to those of you interested in graphic design, programs like Affinity and Procreate, as well as art and illustration. This week, it's all about digital stickers in Procreate. I've shared tutorials in the past on digital planning, and I often utilize apps like Affinity Designer to create digital stickers. Sometimes though, people don't want to purchase another app, and I find that many people have already invested in Procreate. So today I'm going to walk you through my process of creating digital stickers in Procreate. The biggest difference when it comes to creating in Procreate versus something like Affinity Designer is that Procreate is a raster-based program where you're using pixel-based art, whereas Affinity is a vector program, and in the program you can increase the size of your art to infinity without losing quality. In Procreate, that's not the case, and you're often limited by the size of your canvas. Because of this, I suggest you always create your art a bit larger than you need, because you can always scale down, but you won't be able to scale up without losing quality and without your art looking pixelated. So with that being said, let's jump into creating our digital sticker pack in Procreate. I'm going to show you how simple it is to create something in Procreate and then drag and drop them into a digital note-taking app like Goodnotes. I know that some people may already have Procreate, and in the past I've shared how to do this kind of process using software like Affinity Designer, and sometimes people don't want to buy another app, and especially if it costs additional money. Some people just have Procreate already and they might just want to opt to utilize what they already have. And while you may not get like a vector clean line style, some people like this kind of hand-drawn feeling. What I've done already is set up a design on my Procreate app, just a combination of like washi, more decorative, and then some functional stickers that you can utilize as you decorate your digital planners. Just for the sake of time, I wasn't going to take you through the whole entire process of drawing, but I do want to show you the replay of how I went about creating these sketches and then moving things so that everything kind of fits on my artboard. And also remember, keep in mind in terms of settings, because Procreate is pixel-based, you want to make sure that you design larger than smaller, because it's always easier to scale something down once you get the PNGs into Goodnotes than it is to scale something up. All right, so I'm going to go into my replay. I'm going to go into my actions here. I'm going to select video, and then I'm going to show you my time-lapse replay. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see it fully on screen. I'm going to select time-lapse replay, and then it's going to show you how I went about drawing everything. All right, and what's nice is that once you've drawn things, it doesn't mean you can't move stuff around. So I want to show you some tips on how you can kind of move things around. I'm going to add a little sing in this circle sticker really quick. I wanted to do dream big. All right, so I kind of wrote this at an angle. If you want to rearrange and adjust placement, you can just utilize your selection tool. So I'm going to tap on the selection tool in the upper left-hand corner here, and then I'm going to make sure freehand is selected in my bottom pop-up. I'm going to then go select around that sticker, and then I'm going to tap on my move tool, and then you'll see you can resize by pulling in the corners, or you can use this little handlebar and adjust the rotation, and then you can just move it around using your Apple Pencil. You could also use your finger if you have your settings set to that as well. Another tip I wanted to kind of highlight as we're creating is it's actually quite simple to create straight lines and perfect shapes. So for example, I have a tendency to draw lopsided and my hand shakes. So I utilize the snapping functions on Procreate often. So I'm going to select my brush. I'm using a brush set by Kristen Nojux, and she has these beautiful kind of like jitterbug and nice like grainy monoline like sketcherly pencils that I like. So I'm using her extreme jitterbug, which gives me kind of like this blobby inky feel. If you see when I draw a straight line, it tends to be a little bit curved. The trick is when you're creating these lines is to hold your Apple Pencil down. Don't lift it after you've created the line, and you can adjust the placement of it and it'll give you a straight line. So I do this for all sides. And then to undo something, you just tap with 2 fingers on your screen. And then once I'm done, I'm just gonna close my shape here. And then to get that kind of like cutout triangle effect, all I do is just create a perfect rectangle and then create 2 angled lines that come from the corner at the end of my shape here. I'm gonna select my eraser icon, decrease the size of the eraser, and then I have the eraser set to be the same brush that I'm using to draw so that it doesn't look odd when I erase my line work here. And then it gives us this nice little kind of flag effect. And again, you can create perfect shapes as well. So say you want to make a perfect square, just hold your Apple Pencil down once you've created that shape. And then you can tap your finger and it will give you a perfect shape. And then let go. So it's quite simple to create perfect shapes. You could do and create shapes that are in proportion as well. So say you want to make a circle. So don't lift up your Apple Pencil. It'll create the shape, and then tap your finger down and it'll make it a perfect shape. Once I'm done with my sketch, then we can begin to color everything in. And then we can start to play around with adjusting our layers, making copies, flattening things so that we can select, copy, and drag into another app. So as we see, I have my layers set up so that there's a background. When we export this, we're going to want to turn off that background so that we have transparency. But for now, to make it easier to see, I'm going to have that background on. And then I have my first layer with all of my sketches. You can opt to do each layer be an individual sticker. I just find it's easier just to keep everything on one layer. So I'm going to rename this layer to drawing layer. So to do that, I'm going to tap and hold on the layer. And your layers are in the upper right hand corner. It looks like 2 squares stacked. It's right next to your color wheel here, your color icon. So once I tap on that, it's going to open my layers, and then I'm going to select my first layer, layer 1 here. I'm going to tap and hold, and I'm going to rename it and change it to my drawing layer. And then hit return, and then I'm going to create a new layer. So I'm going to add a new layer by selecting this plus icon and the layers pop up here. And it's going to give me a new layer. I'm going to tap and hold so that I get this pop up on the left side here. And I'm going to rename this to color. So I know that this is going to be my color layer. And then what I'm going to do is drag my color layer underneath my drawing layer by tapping and holding and then just dragging it underneath my drawing. I'm going to tap on my drawing layer, and you'll see you have all of these additional options if you tap on the little letter here. So in this case, it's an N. If I tap on the N, I'll get all of these options. And what I want to do is switch this out to multiply. And what this does, so once I'm done, I can just tap on the layer again. So once I've changed this to multiply, what I also like to do to make things go by faster is change my drawing options so that this layer becomes a reference layer, so that if I want to drag and drop colors, it'll reference the lines that I have here. So I'm going to select the little image icon, tap on it, and you'll get these additional options here. And I'm going to select reference. Once I do that, just really quick, I'm going to double check to make sure all of my line work is closed, because if you have anything that has a gap when you attempt to drop color drop, it's going to fill the entire canvas. So you want to make sure, if you're going to use reference and you're going to use drag and drop options, that your line work is completely closed. And this just makes, even though it's a little bit tedious, it makes the coloring process go by a lot faster in the long run. Okay, once I've done that, now I can begin the whole coloring process. So I'm going to tap on my color layer, and I'm going to go in and utilize a color story that I've already created with my palettes. So I'm going to go into my palette, and I'm going to select this spring-like palette here. So once I've found the palette I want to use, which I'm going to end up using this spring-like palette right here, but I'm probably only going to use some of the colors to the far left here. In order for this to be my palette of choice, I'm going to tap on the little 3-dot icon, and I'm just going to select set as default. And then when I go back into my classic color view or my disc view, you'll see that this palette is now in my color options. So I can just tap on any color, and then again, making sure I'm on my color layer and that my drawing layer is now referenced, I can just drag and drop and it'll fill the color for me really quickly. And this makes it a lot faster when it comes to coloring my stickers. But if you enjoy coloring the more traditional way as well, absolutely go for it. I like the outlining and then filling in, because that technique just, again, it makes things quicker. But if you like coloring book style coloring, absolutely go for it. Personally, I know coloring can be very stress relieving, so I think that's probably part of the fun when you're designing these stickers, is the coloring process. But if you're a designer and you're making lots if you're a designer and you're making a lot, say for a shop or something like that, then of course it makes sense to be a little bit more efficient with your time. So you can use that color drop to kind of make your life a little bit easier. And say, for example, you did flood fill, all you have to do is take 2 fingers, tap to undo. And say, for example, that your color, when you drag and drop the color, it doesn't fill all the way to the edges of your drawing. You can just keep your Apple Pencil down, and you can move from left to right to adjust the threshold. So I find that 50 to 60% threshold tends to fill the entire shape. So now I'm just going to continue to finish coloring, and then we'll jump back into this together and work on how to flatten our image so that we can lasso things and pull them into an app like Goodnotes. Okay, now that I'm done coloring, what I'd like to do is group everything together to kind of keep things organized and then make a copy of it. If we go into our layers options here, we'll see we have our drawing layer and then we have our color layer. So what I'm going to do is select both of them and put these in a folder together. So I'm going to tap on my drawing layer, and then I'm going to drag right over my color, and they'll both be selected. And what we want to do is then group this, and then I'm going to rename this group editable so that I know these are my editable layers. So I'm gonna tap where it says new group, hold down, and then I'll get this pop up to the left. I'm gonna select rename, and I'm gonna change it to editable layers. This is so I know that I can go back in and always revise and change things if needed. Then I'm gonna hit return. And then what I wanna do is make a copy of this whole entire group. So I'm gonna drag left over that layer grouping. I'm gonna get these additional options. What I wanna tap on is duplicate. And it's gonna duplicate our whole folder. You'll select this drop down and you'll see the drawing layer and the color layer. And then right underneath it, you'll have an additional copy. So that we know not to touch this, what we're going to do is drag left and we're going to lock this, and then we're going to uncheck mark it so that we can no longer see it. But this still allows us to have an editable grouping that we can go back and change if necessary. In order to lasso each of these and make copies and drag them out into our note-taking app, we do need to end up flattening this set. So to do that, we're going to go into our layers. We're going to turn off our background color by uncheck marking it. We're going to select that new copy of our editable layers. We're going to tap on the title of the group. We're going to select rename, and we're going to rename this to flattened image, and then hit return. And then what we're going to do is tap on the icon to the left of the title of the grouping, and we're going to select flatten. All of the layers are now flattened into one layer. This will allow us to select each of these stickers individually and be able to copy the entirety of that set, including the color as well as the line work. Now that we've done that, I'm going to have us open up our note-taking app, and we're going to do a side-by-side view so I can walk you through the process of bringing these illustrated stickers into a note-taking app like Goodnote. So I'm going to pull up from my dock, and I'm going to open up the Goodnotes app. And then I'm going to pull up from my dock, and I'm going to tap on that Goodnotes app, and I'm going to drag it so that it goes right next to my Procreate app so that I can get a side-by-side view. So now the reason why we flatten this is because I find it just makes it easier to select and then copy these elements and drag them in. I'm going to tap on my flattened stickers layer, and then ensuring that the editable group layers is turned off by uncheck marking it, and that the background is turned off by uncheck marking it. You'll know that it is turned off because you'll have a gray background. Then I'm going to go back into my modify options, tap on my selection tool, making sure freehand is selected, and then I'm going to select this washi, tap on my move icon, which is that arrow, and then go into my wrench actions and select copy. And then I'm going to go back into my Goodnotes app, hold my finger down, and then select paste. And it should paste just that element. And you can resize it as needed. And you could also crop it if you need to, because it's based on the size of our canvas. What we can do is just resize it as needed, and then move it to wherever we want it, and then tap outside of this and then tap on it and hold, and we can select crop, and then it'll allow you to re-crop the bounding box so that it fits just around the washi tape as opposed to the entire artboard that we had on our Procreate canvas, and then hit done. So now we have this sticker. We can resize it, we can rotate it, and that's why it's important to work bigger rather than smaller, because when you resize, you're not going to deal with pixelation. You're going to run into that problem if you're trying to make something that is smaller bigger, but you won't have that issue if you're just making something that is bigger, smaller. So let's do this process once more. Just tap outside of it to deselect it. We're going to go back into our Procreate app here. I'm going to tap on my selection icon. I'm going to select the next sticker I want. And then I'm going to go into my wrench icon. I'm going to select copy, and then I'm going to go into Procreate, hold my finger down on the screen, select paste, and then resize this as I need, and then also crop it. So I'm going to tap my finger down on that icon, and then I'm going to select crop, and then I can crop the bounding box so that it just goes around the shape, and then hit done. And then we can resize and adjust the placement on our page. And then I'll complete this on my own and fast forward, and then you can finish copying your imagery and pulling it over into Goodnotes. And then once you completely finish pulling all of your stickers into your Goodnotes notebook or page, or even into your planner, what's nice is that you can utilize them throughout your planner. So I'm gonna pull my Procreate app to the right to kind of close it, so we're just in Goodnotes. And then I'm just gonna utilize my lasso tool in my Goodnotes app to select a sticker. Hold my finger down or my Apple Pencil down. I can select copy, and then I can go into any other planner or notebook that I might have, and I can then paste this into that planner as well. So you can resize, adjust placement, things like that. So it's really quite a simple and effective way to create digital stickers on the go, and then be able to use them right away. All right. That is it. That is how you create digital stickers in Procreate, and then can pull them out of Procreate really quickly and into Goodnotes. If you wanted to have like a full sheet, you can also export the file by just selecting your wrench icon, tapping on share, and then tap on PNG, and you can export your whole entire file as a PNG file. You can save it to your images, or you can save it to your files. Then hit save, and then you can export that whole page as a PNG and drop that into your Goodnotes app as well. And that is it for this video. I hope you found my overview of how to create your own digital stickers in Procreate helpful and informative. If you enjoyed videos like this, be sure to leave a thumbs up and let me know what kind of digital stickers are your favorite. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel so that you can stay up to date on future videos just like this. It also helps so much as I continue to develop and build this community and offer helpful art and design related content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.